always felt so happy when I was in the ocean. It's one of the rare moments in my life when I'm really present. At the same time, the ocean is what's separating me from my family and from my island.
In the backcountry, there's mountain dangers of every kind. Respect is fine, but fear is not.
I see myself generally as kind of a little bit stubborn.
When you're in the water, it's all about respect. You feel so small compared to these massive skyscrapers. You know the dangers that are involved. You know that you're scared. But at the same time, what you like to do is to be on the edge. Snowboarding itself, it's quite personal for me, and I see it as an expression of myself.
The ocean is changing all the time. You really have to be there, searching, moving, and just feel it.
It's not really about the tricks that you do, it's more about like how you do them and how they make you feel.
Chasing big slabs, big waves, that's what makes me the most happy. I was just a regular kid. I grew up scared of the oceans. I've always, tried to overcome those uncomfortable situations. I still hate being underwater. Still, funny enough, it's my job, when things go wrong, you're underwater for a long time, getting pounded by tons of water. So that's the more uncomfortable side of it.
Well, I started skateboarding when I was 11 years old. There was a friend of mine, he went to Texas and came home and he had a skateboard. And it had like vibrant graphics. It's like, whoa, that's a skateboard. Got my own little banana board from like a toy store and we were just like riding down hills and ripping off all our hands and skin off our knees. You always want to make whatever you're doing the ultimate. You're always striving to make the tricks that you do better. And you're sort of competing against yourself. I think that drive, that self-competitiveness have always been in me. It didn't stem from nothing. There's got to be something inside you that says, I want to do this, I want to win.
I grew up in the mountains in a valley called Engadin, which is famous for skiing. Snowboarding at that time, it really blew up, I would say. I was quite young, I was 7 years old. The excitement to do your thing, which was really cool as a young kid. To be yourself, pursuing freedom at a very young age. I want to go there and I want to go snowboard, I want to do that. The feeling hooked me. I really enjoyed.
first wave I ever caught, I was 12 years old. It was in Saint Martin, my island. I remember exactly the feeling of my first ride. I was taking a lesson. I stand up and I just enjoying every second of the ride, and in my head it completely like lit me up. I was like, okay, this is my thing. This is what I want to do for the rest of my days.
I turned pro in '92. Skateboarding was pretty much dead. Nobody was like really going big. All the big vert ramps were pretty much getting torn down. As soon as we came to America, everything changed, you know what I mean? All of a sudden we were getting paid by companies. A new world opening up for me within skateboarding, you know, like all the magazines and all the videos that I'd always like looked up to, and all of a sudden we were going to the spots that were in these videos and like in these magazines and stuff like that. We quickly came to realize that skateboarding in America was a lot different than how it was in Europe. There was a lot more opportunity. Slam City Jam up in Vancouver, Canada, at the time, like the biggest competition of the year. This was before X Games. I ended up winning the contest up there against like all the best vert skateboarders. All of a sudden, like beating these guys in a major competition, it was like, all right.
Growing up in Saint Martin, it's a tiny island. Almost every part of the island, you can see the ocean. I remember when I was a kid and I saw my parents bring me surfing at 12, and I just like get super in love with surfing and wanted to be every day in the ocean. I started like winning those local contests, and it was like mixed like with boys and girls. Qualified to do my first French championships, and I was only 14, and it was my first time getting out of my island and doing a contest. I did a good result, and I just went to my parents and like, okay, mom, dad, I want to move in France, and I want to have a chance to become a professional surfer. I remember spending like hours and hours in the water, watching surfing all day, and just get improved step by step, contest by contest. Won my first French championship, so that was a big deal for me.
The car gets in a big backside turn-in.
Then I make it to the French team. I make European champion. I start to be qualified for the World Juniors, and I could see my dream coming real.
My first half-pipe competition. I was 11 years old.
Christian Haller, and he puts it down and absolutely stomped his run.
The Burton European Open at Locks. As a junior, this was a huge event, and I won that event when I was 14. It kickstarted my career. Just kind of put you on the map. Then I was in the national team. It was exciting to be on the top league from 2011 until 2015, 16. I went to US Open and European Open. Also went to the X Games and the Olympics, which is a huge deal. I was in Vancouver 2010 and Sochi 2014.
Special that I was able to find my passion so early on. My parents relocated to closer to the beach, and they gave me a boogie board, and that's how it started, you know? And then I surfed all summer, and I won my first contest in the first season.
Because he was spending like 12, 14 hours every day in the water. When he was 13 years old, he went to Tahiti by himself for the World Championship. You know, ever since then, he has been traveling. He has been very successful. I took him out the first time to Nazare, and I was up on the light tower, and as a wave was coming in, I was scared. Just a huge mountain coming up. It's a harrowing experience.
I obviously really love to paddle at Nazare and surfing big waves, but I also love getting barreled. I want to be in that dangerous spot inside of the barrel where the thing can just land on you and break your neck, or, you know, make the best barrel of your life.
I miss my family so much, and I moved. The beginning was the hardest part because you used to have mom, dad, my little brother all the time, and you're now alone, and you now have to do everything by yourself and be kind of lonely. Yeah, it was a big risk for me to leave St. Martin. I was really not sure if I could make it or not. I get 1 year of like a little bit questioning myself, like, oh my God. And then after I was like, okay, you're here, like now go for it.
In 2017, I quit competing in halfpipe. I felt really good about this decision. Remember why I'm doing this. Snowboarding for fun. I ride in the backcountry. That's what I'm really interested in.
In 2015, I broke my wrist, and then 2016, I broke it in almost like the exact same spot. A lot of wear and tear, torn calf muscles, broken ankles, all these super hard slams for years and years. It's definitely gonna like move stuff around. I want to skate as much as I can, but I'm not physically able to skate as much as the younger guys, and I think that's probably because I'm not physically able to stay on my board for 5 to 6 hours a day, like how I did when I was a young kid.
This is proof of the power of the ocean right here. Clean snap, first wave.
I made a model for Nicolau. His model is called the Wild-Eyed Kid, because I could never get him in my shaping room. It's always a fast-paced one with Nicolau. You know? Surfer, he's insane. You know, he's full bore. He's very concentrated, very focused. He picks something like he says, I'm gonna concentrate and focus on this and get it done, he'll get it done. Pretty rare that you're gonna see him paddle for something, pull back on it. I think he'd rather go over the falls and get majorly throttled than actually pull his nose out.
In September 2017, The big Hurricane Irma came on the Northern Caribbean and destroyed almost all the Northern Island, and especially my hometown. Most of the people, they lose their house and everything need to be rebuilt on the island. Like, I felt helpless to be here.
Quand elle est arrivée sur l'île et qu'elle a vu l'état de l'île, parce que notre maison, c'est rien, quoi. Je veux dire, toute l'île, elle est comme ça.
So I decided to raise money to help the surf club in St. Martin. Everyone is working so hard to make the island and get to our little paradise back, and hopefully the little money I can raise from my association, I can help the younger generation to keep surfing, keep the smile, because this is what they really need, hope and smile.
Donc elle les aide, ouais, ça c'est super parce que voilà. Et puis tous les jeunes, pareil, de Saint-Martin, ils la suivent énormément. Donc quand elle est là, ils sont super contents d'aller surfer avec elle et tout. C'est sympa, quoi.
You're out there in the deep snow. There's mountain dangers of every kind, the avalanches. How big is the cliff? Is this face holding? You have to put all your experience throughout your whole career into a line. Yeah, you can never have enough experience.
See myself generally as kind of a little bit stubborn. There's like a never surrender, fire always burning in me, I think. Never really had that. Nah, it's over, I'm gonna stop skateboarding.
Nazaré is a scary beast. It's definitely the biggest wave in the world. When you're out there, it's just a crazy perspective. You don't want to mess up. It's a really thin line.
Find my own way down to the mountain, it excites me. It's really about opening your eyes and finding those special lines, finding your own way to go down the mountain. To be honest, you just let go of everything. You just let loose. You realize it right away if your speed is right. Then when you land, that's when it hits you. Because it's such a nice feeling when you're in this moment. It's pure joy.
How my skateboarding is now and how it was when I was younger or a kid, it's just more fluid. I try to think more selectively about the stuff that I do and try to make it look really nice and feel really nice, like eternally, like when I do the tricks. There's a certain flow to skateboarding and how you do it. Gives you a feeling what you're doing, and it can be either a very forced feeling or a very naturally flowing feeling, and I like the latter.
Most of the time, we are not too many girls in the lineup. I'm happy to represent female surfing and show the males that we can do it too. And I feel like when a girl is surfing, just the style and the grace is something so specific to women, and it's really beautiful to watch.
It's about surviving, you know? It's a deeper feeling, it's not a thought. It feels very, very human, you feel alive.
If I had one wish for the future, it'd probably be just to be happy in skateboarding, and finding the fountain of youth would be nice. I think maybe skateboarding is the fountain of youth in a way, you know?
Every day I wake up and I'm like, okay, where are the waves? I'm gonna get better. I'm just living my dream, and I'm grateful I believed in myself when I was 15 and had the chance to make it happen.
Being really in sync with nature, opening your imagination, the limit there is endless.
Do it because you love it. Do it because you love being in the ocean with your friends, enjoying nature. Learn to love it and have fun. That's the most important. Everything else will follow.